Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago family. I want to welcome you to Let's Talk with the Phantom, and I have a gentleman we are very fortunate to have tonight here, Dr. Andre Phillips with the Trinibago Diaspora Outreach Network. And Dr. Phillips, I want to welcome you to the program and like to thank you for taking time for joining us. And if you can tell us a little bit about your organization and what you've been doing and what's happening.
Thank you for the opportunity for this informal chat, my brother Gary Mahabia. Um, you would have interacted with me a couple of times earlier, but to put it in a proper context, in January 2022, we established and started operating a non-profit organization in Trinidad and Tobago called Trinibago Diaspora Outreach Network. And this entity has been functioning largely with the intention to reach out to the global diaspora of TNT and be able to connect them to residents and communities at home in a very structured way of giving back. And the giving back by the diaspora, I know many of them want to do that, but the situation for a local, what you would call a Trinidad-based collaborator, has never really been available. So this is where we stepped into that space. I am the founder and executive chair of Trinbago Diaspora Outreach, and we have had 5 years. This is our fifth year of having the Diaspora Homecoming Week. Diaspora Homecoming Week is the attitude or arena in which we are able to put together our major areas of focus. That is to research, recognize, and engage the diaspora. That is what we are doing at this point in time. So we are on now, and we are seeing this program. It is normally held in October, but we started firstly in July month. The first 3 years we had homecoming in July month, but we have it now in October, and the fifth edition would be October the 15th to the 18th. That is Thursday the 15th through Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th, and on the 18th Sunday, we have our final activity.
I find this to be something very valuable to us, Dr. Philip, because a lot of our people, wants to help, wants to participate, and we need that mechanism in place to facilitate. We have a lot of skilled people outside the country, and the need, for us to be connected was very well recognized when I had to help a lot of citizens who were stranded outside the country during our border closure. And I mean, piecing things together, I know as it comes, was a tough job. But I recognize how we did not have things in place to really assist our citizens. And over the years here living in the U.S., I've discovered a lot of citizens are very interested in participating, very interested in making a contribution of what they learned outside of Trinidad and Tobago, and they've become very highly skilled people out here. And that could make a drastic contribution to Trinidad and Tobago and helping to uplift our economy and a lot of things. So I definitely value what you're doing and deeply appreciate the work that is being done.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have a slogan, and we started yesterday, to do our international promotion for people to return home for this year's edition. And the slogan is Across Oceans, Still Home. And that is to speak to the whole role. North America, we have the biggest number of people, so we have the greatest focus in North America. And our first program now is being handled with participation in the Caribana activities in Toronto. As a matter of fact, our vice chair, Rayan Ramuta, is leading the promotional activities in Canada at this point in time. Then we will have a couple other initiatives that we will be targeting. In New York, we are going to have promotions on Tobago Day, and then we are going to go back to Canada to do the Independence Ball Fest because our traffic from Canada has been very, very encouraging. So there are different elements for the program and the homecoming, and I'll get into them one by one as we progress.
If I may chime in a little bit, Andre, October is Carnival here in Tobago, eh? So
Yes.
we have to be a little mindful of that weekend because I think Carnival is the very next week
Yes.
after the homecoming. So
Hmm.
I don't know how the timing is. People may like to come and enjoy the carnival at the same time, or they may not have, as you know, living overseas, you don't have the luxury of so much holidays. And with Thanksgiving being what it is next, the very next month, and then the Christmas holidays, it, you know, timing is one of the main issue. And I'm glad you did it. Or sorry, you said that you used to do it in July,
Yeah.
August, that period. Um, what initiated the change, if I may ask?
Well, one of the things that I have been reviewing, especially for Canada, is that the only way out, in and out, had been Caribbean Airlines. And Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
Airlines came on board with us in 2022, the first year, and they gave us discounted tickets. But the period in which they gave the discounted tickets was so very short, and we weren't able to maximize it. And we have just been coming out of COVID. So I have looked at the situation with my team, and we realized that the international participation in the summer is not so keen. The people are not so keen. They want to maximize the summer and come back another time. So we shifted after research and talking to some of the people, attendees, that we're going to go to October. And in this regard, for this year, Caribbean Airlines has come back on board. And Caribbean Airlines is now offering us a discounted ticket for anybody flying from Toronto or any of its routes into Tobago. We are getting a discount, and we are promoting
Uh,
from this weekend.
so, so
And
we was
the turnout.
fortunate. 1 second, we was fortunate to get Rian Ramutel to join us out of Toronto, Doctor. So she's on board with us. Go ahead.
Okay, hi Ryan.
Hi everyone. Pleasant night.
As I said, Ryan is soldering in the field for us right now out there in Toronto, and
As a matter,
she
as a
will.
matter of fact, I'm
Yes.
heading out shortly.
Hmm.
To fly the flagship at Radica's Hot and Spicy, and then to Calypso Hot, where we will
Um,
meet a lot of the diaspora people there tonight. Following some other events as the weekend proceeds.
Yes. So this is very much why we have decided, because the responses since we moved to October in the fourth year, that response far outweighs what we had in the previous years. And now, as I said, Caribbean Airlines has come on board, and they are offering us not just the discounted tickets from Toronto, but from every destination that they operate in. And we want to milk that opportunity, right?
Sure,
Now,
sure, yes.
because you asked about Mr. Sumar Singh, because you asked about the carnival was in our thoughts last year. As a matter of fact, when we had the event last year, which was the same period from the 15th to the 18th, or the I think it was the 17th, the carnival was the following week, and we had about, I would say, at least eight persons who went over to Tobago because they had booked it with Tobago Carnival in mind. This year, the carnival is a little later, but there are people who are going to
Yes.
be coming in for to play mass and to check some of the actions. So when we put on this flight, this is a homecoming trip. These flights
These
will be
flights.
12th to the 20th of October. We will have a genuine expression of people coming for the cultural element. But more significantly, directly related to us, is that we are promoting the Tobago Blue Food Festival as the cultural immersive activity on the fourth date. That's Sunday the 18th. So we are going to plan a trip for persons to go over to Tobago and be in the one of the biggest culinary events of Tobago, which I know, Mr. Sumersing, we would have been in tourism when we were having that.
Well,
28 years now.
that was one of my baby. That was one of my project. I introduced that in 2004. It was held at Bloody Bay that time. Bloody
Yes.
Bay. It started at the Dashin Fest, the Dashin Festival,
Hmm.
and it was transformed over time when I brought on John Arnold, and he took it to another level.
Yes.
Sadly to say, it has not grown to my expectation in that we have not been able to monetize the output of that festival to the extent I would like to see. The dashing ice cream, the dashing flour, the dashing bread, all the products you can get out of blue food, as they call it, the blue metal, that particular brand of dashing, so
Hmm.
to speak.
So, a quick question: is Dr. Philip residing in Tobago, or you in between both?
I am in between Tobago and
Oh,
Trinidad,
okay, okay, okay.
but I am my primary home is in Tobago. All right.
Oh, okay, because we have an objective. I shared with Mr. Sumansing and didn't realize he was so well versed in Tobago and involved. But I'm interested that we're going to discuss some more things later on when you have some time. We want to see some development in Tobago. We're very interested in seeing Tobago get certain things done there. At another time, we will talk more about that.
Yes. Okay, that's fine. So let me tell you, the program rollout is Thursday, the 15th of October. We are actually going to have a day dedicated to charitable activities where the diaspora would be members of the diaspora who want to come back home could engage in different activities. In the past, we've had participation in health fairs in Trinidad and in Tobago. We've had distribution of school books and so on, and we have had other initiatives largely around the knowledge transfer or sharing of good medical or health practices through our diaspora people and their connections speaking with folks. I want to tell you about one particular initiative because this one is so significant. It has rocked Trinidad and Tobago, and that is the work of Hands International, who earlier this year, in the month of May, they had a 2 week exercise at the Cocorite Hospital. And in that exercise, they were able to do cataract surgeries, I think it was, for over 1,500 people. And it was such a heavy, heavy program of support. People were desperate to get this kind of service, and they created a lot of problems on the main road in Cocorite, Western Main Road, for people to normally commuting. They had challenges. The leader of that program, Dr. Rainer Legard, is a Tobagonian. He leads an international body that goes around the um, region doing work with people who have issues. But he leads the organization as a Tobago, and he has Trinidad and Tobago people who come on the team. So it's diaspora led, even if it's not only the diaspora involved, right? And we have an awards program this year, the third year with the annual awards, diaspora awards, and Dr. Agard is down to receive an award for diaspora patriotism in October. But the schedule is Thursday, acts
Excellent,
of
excellent.
kindness. Friday, our biennial diaspora conference addressing the ways in which the diaspora has already been helping Trinidad and Tobago and looking at the opportunities to build up that help some more. The exchange, knowledge transfer, all of that, the whole gamut. That is a one-day conference. It will be long, from 9 a.m. to about 5. And then on Saturday the 17th, we will be having our third annual Patriotic Awards Gala, where we would be honoring 10 or 11 persons who have been performing significant work in different fields, especially philanthropy in helping Trinidad and Tobago. All of those persons who are being nominated or approved, they would have been doing this service for more than 10 years, connecting with Trinidad and Tobago for more than 10 years. And the awardees are coming from Canada, the USA, one from Barbados, the first time we getting somebody from within the Caribbean, and we have one or two from the UK. So this is our third annual. We have had um, 12 people awarded in the first year in 2024, 12 in the second year last year, and now we have this another batch. So already we have had 24 persons who were awarded. The final day, as I said, would be Sunday when the majority of people, if they opt to go to Tobago, we would put the logistics in place for them to travel to Tobago for the Blue Food. And I know that there are some who are staying on to be involved in the Tobago Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Singh, you have any other questions, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is very laudable because all the
Somehow I lost him. Are you
activities. I
hearing me,
was in
Dr. Phillips?
Trinidad when they had that health. Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
hear that.
Gary.
Okay.
I said that is a
I'm
very
not sure if we hear
laudable,
Mr. Singh here now. Are you hearing
thing
me, Dr.
that you're
Phillips?
doing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean everything as far as I
Are you
see
hearing me
is
at all?
falling in line with the other events. It is well planned out. In the time frame that you set there, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you as as things develop. Going forward, I was happy to get Rianne there for a minute or two to join us. So, Mr. Singh, are we not hearing you, Mr. Singh?
Yes, I am here.
Oh boy, something. Mr. Singh, Mr. Suman Singh, we're
I'm
not
not
hearing
sure
you.
why. I don't know why you're not
I'm
hearing
hearing
me.
him. I'm hearing him loud and
Let
clear.
me try to come in back again. Yeah, Andrea, as I was saying, was this is a very laudable effort, because I mean, far too often people are willing to come back and give back as well. Not only in the philanthropic sphere, but also contribute, their expertise and so on, which are short here, HR skills, which are much needed. But I find that the from the political side, we don't have that strong connection to let the politicians know that these skills which these residents have and willing to come home and share and build the nation, so to speak. There's not a clearinghouse that one can relate to, or one can say, hey, you know what, I'm an economist, I'm coming back here, how can I help you? Or I'm a technologist, I'm a mechanic, a machinist, so what have you? I'm a database administrator, I'm willing to, set up systems for you all. There is no clearinghouse as such that that will take advantage of your skills which you have to offer.
Yes.
And I think that is one of the biggest bugbears in this system, because when they go out, the politicians that is go, they encourage the diaspora to come and contribute.
Yes.
And yet, when you come home, a lot of people tell me the same thing. They said, "Who should I contact? Where should we go to?" And then you get this big run around, like somebody figure you come to take their job. That sort of feeling, even though they don't express it outwardly, but they're very clannish about it. That you are here to replace them. What to come? I'm working here 20 years. in the position and you think you can come and do this. You know, that negative sentiment really is a feeling I get all the time from people who come in, wish to come back home to help, but they are viewed as threatening or taking away somebody else's job. I don't know how you feel about that.
Now, I want to commend you for your observations because this is part of the component we talk about engagement. We do diaspora engagement because that's a field I am a thought leader in this world for diaspora engagement. And I am hoping to make a better impression with others who are helping to get the government, one, to sign off on a diaspora policy, right? A broad based diaspora policy that would guide policy execution. It hasn't happened as yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have been talking to this Minister of Foreign Affairs. He has been invited. He participated in indirectly in our awards gala last year. The
That's
previous what you call
previous
him,
what you
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Amy Brown. He didn't attend, but he said representatives.
Mm-hmm.
But when we want to get the diaspora policy, it remains there in the ministry without any actionable elements. And I say, don't look far. Right here in the Caribbean, Jamaica is far ahead. Their government embraces the diaspora, and they have actual diaspora division within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The president and prime minister, this one and the one before, they have been going to the places where the big population of Jamaicans are in Toronto as well as New York to have meetings. As a matter of fact, what they do around the United Nations General Assembly Week, which is normally in September, far outstrips what we have done in a sporadic way when our prime minister goes to the UN. They would call a little meeting sometime for the diaspora to attend. It is not typically arranged in a way with any focus. And then you go and you have the same questions being asked every year, and the answers are like, similar. But other islands or countries in the Caribbean are beginning to put the diaspora forward in a significant way. So, what we are going to do in this conference, the theme of the conference is
one too.
bridging diaspora resources to advance multi-sectoral development in Trinidad and Tobago. And in this regard, we are focusing on the economic and investment climate in the morning. We are going to look at cultural and social sector initiatives in the afternoon. And at the end, we will have a roundtable to fashion a diaspora framework to share with the government for them to consider what they are going to do. Thank you for the upload of the flyer. So this is what we are trying to do, to use soft strategies to woo the government to come on board and start largely by having a diaspora policy that is signed off. So we are still some distance away. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to share this with you all today and look forward to opportunities to speak with you again before we even arrive at homecoming week in 2025 and 2026.
Thank you, Dr. Philip. Dr. Maraj, just say a quick hello to Dr. Philip because he got to run. So if you have a quick question, Dr. Maraj, just join me also in New York there. Dr. Maraj, are you there? Okay,
I
well,
just heard him for a little while, Gary, but I think he dropped off.
okay, all right. So then we'll wrap up with Dr. Philip here. Dr. Philip, I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, Gary.
Say a quick hello
Yeah,
to Dr. Philip. I just want to make a quick introduction to.
yeah, I would say Dr. Philip that I would perhaps talk to him sometime soon. If you join us again someday, let us know and we'll come in early enough so we can have a conversation.
Splendid.
Yeah. Are you based in New York or where are you based? Trinidad or where?
I'm based in TNT.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
don't think
I'm in
you
New
could
York.
have
So.
a proper, what you call, embrace without having a
Yes.
coordinating hub based in Trinidad
Right.
and Tobago. We are
Sure.
working ourselves to be the coordinating hub for connections between the diaspora broadly and TNT.
Oh, excellent. Very good.
So definitely,
And talk
whenever
again.
you're in the New York side, Dr. Philip, Dr. Marge is there. Will definitely, he's not too far from JFK. He can meet with you. So we
Okay.
just want to keep building that connection. And I'll let Dr. Marge talk to you. Doctor, do they want to have any other things to say real quick? Because Dr. Philip has another event he has to run to.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry, I was just enjoying what he was saying, but he gotta go. So we'll continue another day.
Yeah,
Yes.
so definitely we're gonna bring him another day. We'll bring him back. You know, so
Yeah,
Dr.
sure.
Philip, I want to thank you very much, and this network is always available. That you have something going on, you want to send a message. It is available to you at any time. Okay, sir. So thank you very
Thank
much
you.
again. We finally got together. Thank you very much.
All right.
Uh,
Blessings to you all. And we'll pick up another time.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye bye.
so
Take
Mr.
care.
Singh,
Take care, Andrew.
uh, Mr. Singh, Dr. Maharaj, you guys want to continue the conversation?
Yeah, yeah.
We
I don't know if Mr. Singh has anything in his mind, but I have a couple of things that I would like to perhaps talk about.
Yeah, I can stick.
Um,
I can stick
but
around a couple minutes. Yeah.
say again, cement, cement.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Dr. Maharaj. I'm here. I'm
Uh,
here.
Go ahead. I heard it the last time you were on a roll with respect to the Tobago situation. Have you sorted that
Yeah.
out yet?
Yeah.
Or it's still in the
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm here. I'm here full time retired. Soon to rejoin the labor force
Yes,
as a
excellent.
special advisor to the THA. So
Yeah.
hopefully within the next month or so, I should be onboarding with them.
Oh, good.
Um,
Excellent.
so
Yeah.
yeah, basically in the area of data analytics and AI, the
Yeah.
government is trying hard to introduce a digitalization project,
Yeah.
both in Trinidad and in Tobago. The Trinidad company actually is headed by my cousin there, and I'm the
Yeah.
one doing it in Tobago. So I guess nobody knows, but we are coordinating behind the scenes really how we're going to approach this.
Mm-hmm.
She had just come back from Singapore, where they have introduced a lot of AI training to all these public servants and so on. And I have written out the blueprint for the development of a number of e-services which you can basically do from your couch or from your laptop, from your phone or tablet, and so on. So you don't have to trek into Port of Spain or into Scarborough to find out if your increment for next year or this year is approved. You can apply for your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, the deed for your land, and register a child in school and everything like that. Your health card, your home health visits, your prescription, what have you. Everything is being brought. I'm doing about 30 e-services from home, which you could do from home,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So you can apply. So it takes you about anywhere between 2 and 5 hours to go and fill out a form in the office and wait till the name call, and most likely you have to come back the next day and all this sort of thing. We want to break that down to 10 minutes, from 2 to 5 hours to 10 to, let's say, 10 minutes. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the objective. That is the KPI, a key performance indicator. And how are you going to do that? You have to have some metrics where you're going to measure every 6 months whether the system is working or not and where the gaps are. You do gap analysis and you do your corrective measures as it is warranted. So it's a nice, interesting project for me. It's my retirement project. I'm
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have most of it already done.
Mm-hmm.
Is to just to secure the funding. And I got the commitment from the THA that they are willing to fund everything. Whether Trinidad does it or not, they're willing to fund it. So hence the reason why I came on board here.
And
So
you remember the last day I was telling you that the THA and the people who runs Tobago from the executive side, they may have all the plans in mind, but they cannot get it off the ground because it takes that kind of entrepreneur spirit, that kind of entrepreneur delivery system to get it
yes,
moving. Because they could talk and talk shop and they go back and say, well, now we procrastinate next week, we come
but
back, we do the same thing, 1 year gone, and we haven't started.
you're quite
But
right.
the hands-on guy would say, we're getting on right away. Next week, Monday, we're going to start A, B, C, D. When we start working, and once we start working, things start to fall into place. But the
Yes,
meeting and the behind closed doors and the blah, blah, blah. So what I was saying is the THM might have all good things in mind, but they don't have that kind of wherewithal to how to
that's
how
right.
to
That
how
has
to how to
always,
how to day one
yes,
execute immediately. Don't
the
wait for
implement,
more year. No.
it all breaks down at the implementation level. You have the
Mm-hmm.
plans, yes, but the plans is just one third
Mm-hmm.
of the strategic forum. What happens anytime you're doing strategic planning? There are three aspects of it. The what, that is the plan. The what is the plan, the strategic plan. The when is the time frame. You got to give it time. Like year one, I want to do 10%. Year two is another 20%. Year three is 35%, like that. So the when is also part of the strategic plan, but everybody just has the plan. They do not tell you about the when. So they don't
Mm-hmm.
have the timelines. And then the third part of it is the how. The how is what are the results you're hoping to achieve, which what we call in business money is the KPI. What is it you want to achieve? What is the long-term strategic goal? And what are the benefits of this initiative? So the what is the strategic plan, the when is your implementation schedule, and the how is how are you going to do it. It follows the model of input, processing, output. And the output is the results you wish to have. So if you don't do that, and in Tobago's case, as well as in Trinidad to a large extent, they just do the what, which is the plan. They do not tell you the timeline, and they do not tell you how they're going to achieve it. So
Mm-hmm.
that brings me back to mind is that these are just political talk. It's just
And
in the
yeah,
wheels
and
of
yeah, and
politics.
the what and the how, and even some whys in between, because you need the
Yes,
whys to go together hand in hand.
yes,
But I was saying that you could have all these things to be done, but you don't do it. So that day one say execute in the morning, 7 o'clock. Everybody get together, and we're going to do A, B, C, and D, starting exactly before 9 or 9 o'clock or whatever time.
correct,
You know
correct.
that execution that must be concrete and deliberate. You might make errors along the way, but you have to get it. You got to start it. Otherwise, it'll be in the shelf like Trinidad have a million reports about this and that, everything they have a report about, but nothing gets done because the
Yes.
report is all that was going to get done. So
And they
once you
have
have the report,
recognized
you think, well,
you
it's
have,
okay. It's not okay.
yeah,
You could have all the reports and it's not okay.
yeah.
You could have all
Dr.
the plan. We
Mark,
have all, and they hire a lot of people, consultants, and they give them
big
all kinds of
time.
stuff.
They have that, they only have the what is to be done, but the how and the when,
No,
they're
no,
sadly lacking on those areas, which
yeah,
is really the implementation side,
yeah.
not the planning
And
side.
that's where you need a practical management skills to
Yes,
get it going
correct,
off the ground.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So that's why
Absolutely.
the point I was making last week, and I was hoping they will get you on board at some point to get this thing going, because and then you may find you'll be frustrated along the way because you find the way politician thinks. I mean, you're working with them,
Yeah,
they
I'm
might you
going.
might find this you stymied at some point.
Well, I'm going right up to the top with this thing. If you want to
Yes,
introduce this plan, you're going to get clearance from the top, 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 top. So
yes.
if ever the project falters, let them blame themselves. Those at the top, not me.
Mm,
But I already made
mm,
it clear. I already wrote out the schedule and the time frame, the when is to be
mm,
done every 3 months or 6 months. I'm reporting. The, anytime there's a lapse, I do the gap analysis to find out the reason why this uh, thing was
mm,
not achieved 50% and why is it only 30%. So you do the stopgap measures and I give a time frame that, hey, coming to funding and so on,
mm,
only when this thing works to my satisfaction or the team's satisfaction, then you're going to get paid for that part of the project and so on.
mm,
We're not going to buy things wholesale from a software vendor or developer and they tell you they want 15-20% down payment. No, 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 no. Let the system work before, on schedule. Your money is there put aside, and let it work to our satisfaction, and then you get paid. I'm doing it the other way around.
mm,
I'm not paying upfront for things and you're not sure if it's going to work to your satisfaction. Next thing, after 2 years, the company goes belly up and
mm,
you
mm,
left, holding the bag, so to speak.
mm,
And they try to sell you, they develop what's called proprietary technology. That means only them can knows about it. It's not open source. It's not you
mm,
could buy off the shelf. So they kind of hook you into this thing that this is proprietary
mm.
technology. You need to buy everything from us.
Yeah.
So I'm using a whole new different model based on best practices and my knowledge as well of
Yeah.
implementing these systems in Miami Beach for the Miami-Dade County.
Yeah.
So basically it's from lessons learned.
Yes.
And we're going to do things not
Yeah.
as it used to be. No, 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 no. That old time way of doing things, while it has merits in some cases, no, we're using different procedures that will ensure one delivery on time. And
Mm-hmm.
once it's delivered, you get paid and we hold a contingency fee for a year or two, as the case may be, to ensure that there's successful transfer of technology and what have you, so we can develop
Mm-hmm.
the in-house skills and this sort of thing. So they don't have you to hang, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my approach to this. It's a big project, a massive project, and Tobago being so small, and is about 30 e-services I intend to offer in 2.5 years, 30 months.
13 how much?
Yes.
13 what?
30 e-services projects.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like passport application, driver's license renewal, birth certificate, death certificate, school registration, health information card, health prescription, health delivery of medication at home for different disabled and so on. This is what I'm
Right. So
doing.
do they have the capacity in place, the
No, they
technology to go
don't
along?
have the capacity in place. But first of all, Dr. Maharaj, it requires coordination among the various ministries and departments where a lot of the data reside in Trinidad. For example,
Okay.
immigration data, people coming to Tobago, that data is
Yeah.
kept by the immigration department in Trinidad. You don't have access to that. So
Okay.
agreements and this sort of thing, little MOUs have to be established to ensure this
Mm-hmm.
thing works, to the level of satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
TTPS, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they got a
Mm-hmm.
certificate of good character. I don't know if you know, from now on, any big job you're applying for, you need to have a certificate of good character. It takes 6 months to get that.
Wow. So long?
So it takes 6 months to get that. Even I, with my new job, had to go and
I mean,
get
I
one.
came out
But
of the, I came out of the department, the CID and CRO. So
yeah,
I I think was much shorter in those days, in the 60s and the early
Well,
70s. Like
fortunately,
you get out, I think in less than 3 months. I'm almost
yeah,
certain less than 3 months.
6 months. So I encourage
Yeah.
them. Well, when you go and apply for, it, they get a receipt. So luckily, they took my advice and it said they will take the receipt as evidence that some at least you applied for it.
Hmm.
I was fortunate because the inspector lived opposite me and he arranged for mine, so I got mine in a day. So that's good.
Hmm.
But then again, the average
Hmm.
man outside, if you don't know anybody, you have to wait the time.
Yeah. The second
Yes.
point I wanted to raise tonight, because I'm not hearing anybody talking about it. What I'm hearing about Trinidad is this: that they want to bring this heavy machinery called the AI center,
Oh, it's called
where
the data center.
right,
The
and
data
what
center.
the data center that the current government seems to be on board with to some extent. So I listened to some of the conversations that are taking place. As soon as you get a conversation with a Trinidad, like I was this afternoon, they talk about how we don't have the electricity and we don't have water. That crap talk. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Correct.
That is down the road. Listen, right? Let them kind of give us a feasibility study. And the example I gi- and yeah, now let me. This is what I'm coming to. I don't know if you know, but you all from the south would know that in the Penal area there was a shell company. They had an oil field, a big oil field, pretty big, and they had one in Barrackpore. Most of the extraction were happening on land. They never had sea extraction. You know, that company, Shell and Texaco, they had their own dams, and we talk about big dams that never dries. It's like a reservoir, but it's so huge. And they get in the water, they produce their own water with their own rain and their own reservoir. They never depended on government to support them, whatever infrastructure they had. Also, they generate their own electricity as well. So, and here's the thing about it. I was beneficiary when I was a little boy growing up in elementary school. That we don't have water, and we used to go down into Platanite. That's a place where the oil field had a massive pipe that you could go in there and turn these valves and you get water, and this is supplied by the oil field. So when the government didn't have water in the taps, you go down there and you get it. My point is that this thing about they would know how to have develop their own, and there's a lot of water they will need, but they know how to do it. They would know how to do it and how to tap the water and not to depend on government. They will ask for some favors though, and one of them might be that to have the natural gas some subsidized, especially in the first couple of years as they get off the ground. But I mean that this what I'm saying is that Trinidad, I'm not talking about there's a model in place where you don't depend on the WASA nor TNTech to generate your electricity and your water, but they know how to do it themselves. Even right in using Sam Island and Bridgeton Castle. We had two big dams that never dries in the winter because they use a lot of water too, but not as much as the AI center would use, but the
Right.
data center. But there were the models are what I'm saying. The models there. Not I never heard a Trinidad person talk about that. Maybe they forget or they don't know. For
They
those who know,
well,
didn't come forward. But they already model that kind of a system where they have their own infrastructure built into the model doesn't need to depend on no Trinidad. So Trinidad people will have their own water. If that's your worries, you won't have no damn worries. You talk about
that's right.
nonsense. And you
That's
only
right.
follow what they say in another country. You have a different kind of problem. Deal with what you have in front of you. The model was
Correct.
already there. BP and Texaco. And even Britain Castle, use them, what do you call them? They were the British firm that had the sugar before in
Tate
using
and
St.
lie.
Martin and
It
Britain
was
Castle.
Tate and lie.
Tate and Lie. That's the name I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Mm.
Dr.
So
Maraz, everything
they
you
know how to
said,
do it. So they don't have to depend on you. If you worry, if that's your worries, you want to die, no worries. It's
that's right.
just that the companies that are coming in, they will, and in the case if they buy water, they will pay for it. The water wouldn't be free. If suppose they start to use the TNTech water, TNTech supply and WASA, they're paying for it, they will
So
pay for it.
I just speaking of water, why we can't remember the option for desalination where you could use the salt water and convert it.
Mm-hmm.
And we an island surrounded by water. So water should
Mm-hmm.
not be a problem. If that
Right.
water is the issue there because we're surrounded by water. We could use some of that salt water, I would think, or I would like to think.
Right.
Yes.
So,
What
so
happened?
the,
In
the
short,
conversation have to move to feasibility, ROI, and is can we get it off the ground and will it be profitable and do you have a market for what you're going to sell? And this company, when they come in here, they will know that.
well,
So,
it's I think most of that has already been done. I'll tell you more about it, Dr. Marat, and I can
right.
relate to everything you just said. Those
Mm-hmm.
ponds has been redone recently since the UNC came into power. The one at Clark Road.
Uh-huh.
It's run by Heritage Petroleum now. Nice, lovely pond. They made it into a nice recreational pond with a nice
Oh, I see.
boardwalk right around it and
Mm-hmm.
so on. The one at Point Pier, which serves the big refinery there, that is in shambles because when it's sold off Petro Train and so on, there's more grass in the pond than lilies than water in it at this point in time. But
Mm-hmm.
that is being resuscitated back again. As far as the electricity goes, the oil companies generated their own electricity. In fact, all the companies' staff, housing, and so on had free water
Yeah.
and free electricity
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
those days. So I can relate to what you're saying. A lot of
Yes.
the Forest Reserve, Santa Flora,
Yes.
Crest
Yes.
Camp, and so on was all BP and Shell
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Texaco, of course.
Yeah.
So there was
And
always a water
they share
supply
the water. They share the water with the community.
to community.
You
Yes,
could, yeah,
and
you could
water
go and
supply.
take
We
one
never
never
had a,
stop
we
there.
never had a problem for water. Never, never in our life
No, nope, nope, nope. So the
because
model is already what I'm saying. That model is
yeah.
already there. So that
So
discussion about water and water, those are moot points. Those are not relevant. What is
now what?
develop a model
The,
where you
the
can have
water and
the
water
company
is
will
a
come and
P&M
take.
constructed problem.
Correct. That is where the problem is. It was geographic discrimination of water distribution. That is where the problem is with
Mm-hmm.
Basa under the PNM. How come all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
for the past 2 years or so, there have been much, 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 much less complaints about water?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Water was siphoned off to the PNM areas and the 1% areas. They never had problems with water. Only people down south complains.
Yeah.
South of the Caribbean Bridge, they're the ones who complain about water and flooding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that was that. I think that is a problem that's well on the way to be solved. But let me get back into data centers because I'm actively involved in that.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Data
That's.
centers are like, in the 70s, there were these big cars, they call them gas guzzlers,
Mm-hmm.
the big V8s and so on,
Yeah.
American
Yeah.
cars, they were gas guzzlers, right?
Yeah.
Well, data centers operate on the same principle in that they're energy guzzlers.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have a relatively cheap source of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have a lot of natural gas in Trinidad and Tobago. So
Mm-hmm.
we have that advantage off the top already. But more important is that there is a ready market out there for your output of data services, the storage, the retrieval, you know, of data and so on, the handling, the manipulation. All these things can be done in Trinidad and you can make money out of it. This is what the big companies in the world are going after right now. Google and Amazon and Netflix and Facebook and so on, Microsoft, they are doing like what's called one-stop shop for all your computing needs. But because they control the data centers, which is the storage, the storehouse, and the advanced chips that work on the background, they can afford it because it's billions of dollars. Billions mean billions and billions of dollars that have been invested into these modern AI chips. So it's like basically a monopoly of 5 companies, which are called hyperscalers, right? So you have a IT problem, come to one of us, the 5 company, and we solve it to you. Anything you have, any problem with relating to software, IT, service delivery, marketing, what have you, they're the solution provided because they control the data centers.
So,
So
since
unless
my question to you is this:
Mhm.
since this is a high capital intensive operation,
And a high lucrative one as well.
uh, but you need a certain break even volume. Does
Yeah.
Trinidad have a break even volume, or you depend
Well,
on markets on the outside to get that break even volume?
there's a demand right through the Caribbean is buying services. It's like
But
like a
also, gentlemen, this is an opportunity for us to lead again.
correct. This is the
You
whole
know,
point about it.
and we live in a tropical environment. We on the equator. We have not really capitalized on solar energy. All right, and things like that. I mean, we could. There's a lot of areas that we need to really advance in that can be supportive of providing electrical power, electricity through solar and wind energy and things like that we
Yeah,
need to work on.
because
You know.
at the
What about
same
nuclear?
token, Gary,
Can we, Simon,
yes,
tell us something about nuclear. Is nuclear possible at all?
We
yes,
not
yes,
well
at, at,
Trinidad and
at,
Tobago that might be not a good idea, but definitely the solar and the wind energy is something we could
well,
really work. And
let me
the water can be used to conduct electricity too, right?
let me give you a good example. India, Google is building the biggest data center in India in the state of Gujarat because of the humidity, how hot it is in Rajasthan, the desert,
Yes.
ideal for solar power, which is a cheap source of power. So they are taking advantage to build some hundreds of acres of solar farms that is going to be used funded in the desert to generate the power. So
Mm-hmm.
they're not taking industrial supply from villages and towns and so on
Mm-hmm.
for that
Mm-hmm.
purpose. We
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad is so uniquely situated that Dr. Marad, you already have a ready market throughout the Caribbean for this. This is what's
Mm-hmm.
called um, providing service.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Yeah, it
power,
is
like
giving us
electricity.
the advantage to lead. It's giving us the advantage to lead here again
and,
to take.
and not only lead in the technological arena, which is the cutting edge area.
Well, that's it. Well,
This is where
the
we got the
technology
chance.
or whatever it is, but it's giving us the advantage here, and a lot of people don't see that.
You see, no, no, no. The one set of government had no clue about development of Trinidad and Tobago for the past 10 years. What has been developed? Everything was shut down instead of being developed. The steel plant, the steel mill was shut down. The
The only
petroleum
thing
was
was
shut
developed is the raiding of the treasury.
That is the only thing, perhaps. All the services gone through the water system, the electricity system, you name it, everything was downtrodden. The communication systems, every down. First year in many years, over 10 years, TSCTs finally made a profit this year. What was happening all this time?
So the break even could Trinidad market alone give them? Assume you don't get the West Indian market for some or whatever reason. Could the
But there's a
Trinidad
whole
market alone
CARICOM
break
market
even?
there for the taking. And it's the buying of these services from North America is very expensive for us, because we still have to find foreign exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you can produce at home, there's a huge
Mm-hmm.
savings. And that's the same
Yeah.
thing like what has happened to Petrotron, Trin.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
forex reserves dried up. Petrotrin was profitable because they told you that in the last year of operation they made $1.6 billion profit. So why did it close down? And were the repercussions of it closing down? So you see, we have to take the advantage of the situation now, and we getting a chance to get back into a leadership role in the Caribbean, and it will give us a technological edge, which is a double whammy we're going to get on the positive side.
Mhm.
You know, so data
Yeah,
centers,
because Dr. Mulilal is working very hard and moving moving drastically forward in getting our energy sector up and running. I'm sure there's a lot of things that will develop in that end. Now we also have the opportunity with the data center here. And I mean,
but
this is putting us right
it's not
in the lead.
one data center, Gary. It's two data centers thereafter. That is the feasibility was showing to be successful in TNT. We need
Right.
two. So, but if you're going to,
And the thing about it, there are a lot of things that can follow with that, you know?
naturally, the whole area of unified payment systems, all these transactions online, all these businesses online, they want to develop a lot of SMEs to let it be everything be digitalized, digital transactions. So you don't need no big storefronts and so
But
on
notice this,
anymore.
that the government is in a position now where it's not having to chase after investors. The investors is chasing after the government, right?
Yes,
You
that's
notice the
correct.
difference in the leadership with this government and compared to the previous government. Here now
And
is that where we are, how to say, we are attractive, you know,
yeah.
and create an attraction for economic growth and investment, you know.
Now we all have to appreciate that the oil industry or the energy sector has always been at the forefront of technology in Trinidad. And we have to understand that because long before they were, when the state were doing things the old traditional way, the energy sector was way advanced and updated with American technology because they were American companies. So they were all current with what was happening in the technology field, like in the as areas of geoscience and shooting wells and what have you, drilling techniques and so on. These, these this technology or these technologies were not available locally. They were brought in by the oil companies. The whole concept of spatial planning and what have you. These things are now the government is trying to do a spatial plan for TNT. When they were in 2003, my relative was heading BPTT and she had a spatial plan for Trinidad, but that was 22 years ago. So the oil companies were always way ahead technologically than the rest of the country. So you have to understand that
No, 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 no.
that's
I know.
how they're
Yeah, but
driving.
understanding it doesn't tell me anything.
Okay, that's
What
how
I,
it's driving the efficiency, Dr. Murad.
in other words, I was hoping you're going to tell me how they could have diffused that technology to the rest of the economy,
There
if
have to
possible.
be the political will, and that is
But that can only be
just
done
about happening now.
under that will only get done under the leadership of the our UNC government. That will never happen because the other government wants to keep people where they are, and they don't seem to understand that. The only progress we will see here is under the UNC government and under the current leadership of Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa. All right,
And it
because
is happening, I can tell you.
she is setting the footing for it.
Yes, I can tell you, Gary and Dr. Murad, that things are happening. They are happening because, as Gary is saying, and this is quite true, a lot of companies are now expressing the interest to come back to Trinidad again to set up shop. That's why you find two, three, four guys after the steel mill in Trinidad. that's soon to be opened again or reopened, nutrient plant, then one of the Canadian companies, the Methanex, and so on. They're all coming back, and they're coming back because of the change in business climate. Even though the world is more on a stagnant stage, do you see viability in coming back to Trinidad and Tobago? Because you see hope. And once the oil companies begin to come back in a big way, like Shell and ExxonMobil and Amoco and this one Total and BHP Billiton and BP and so on, they're all expressing interest and are reviewing contracts with the government. So funds, the flow of funds are starting to happen. The production in two of the major gas fields, the Manatee and the other one, has just been cleared by Shell to operate and sell natural gas from the one of the plants which is shared between Venezuela and Trinidad. They got clearance from the US government to start to export back the natural gas and so on to Trinidad. So things are happening. Things are happening. Unlike the stagnation which was there over the past 10 years. So
So
we see
now, so, go ahead, Gary. I want to make my last point. Ready?
Oh no, I'm not saying anything. You guys carry on.
Okay. The last point I want to talk about is the question of what you all are mentioning. That is it only, and we said it many times before, but sometimes we change our mind. The as you said, just said cement that the UNC is the one, maybe the only one who can do it, which I said way back when. This is the last. I was saying this is the last chance to be great. There will never be a chance like this anymore. Especially if they go back to the old dirty and untried ways that was unsuccessful. So, with that in mind, I always told you that all these great things we have, and all these nice things you could do, and all this technology you have, and all this brain power we have, if we do not hold on to the current government power, our our efforts might be brought to naught because those people will not be prepared to go along with what the UNC doing. They will find reason to reverse everything, even though it is better for the because Trinidad don't work like that. They're not a just society to say, well, economics rule and everything else comes money and bread and butter first and everything else second. No, they have it the other way around. Look at how they behaving about some today, some special day today, and that the government didn't give them or do enough for them because they have all kinds of problems and all kinds of issues. And what's even worse is that what if you look at the UNC, you'll see the UNC is a rainbow coalition of look at them, you'll see. Go to even right now, go to a Calypso tent, you'll see how many rainbow people in there. Go to in the chutney show, you'll see how many the rainbow of Trinidad well represented. These people cannot take that. That's a serious threat to the whole paradigm of holding on to Trinidad power at all costs. That divide and conquer that the British used well, and then William perfected it in Trinidad, and the current crop of people giving it legs to ensure it continues. You could see their behavior today is that. I'm saying this because we want this government to succeed and we want them to continue for a number of periods to come so we can get to where Trinidad should have been or ought to be, and they have to be somewhere else rather than where they are now. And this government and the help that they get from all the members of the party and all the technocrats who are helping them right now, they're on the right track. And that is why the opposition cannot take that kind of success Because every time the UNC shows success, they realize their term of getting back in the government gets slimmer and narrower and narrower and narrower. So they're trying the old divide and conquer tactics that they're trying to, and because they want to tell those guys that you all many of you all who are in this UNC, come home. Your home is here. Your home is not there. That is not your home. You're squatting there. This is what they're trying to tell those nice boys that we had that I have, where Trinidad is number one, and then the party last or third or whatever, somewhere down the line. So that problem we must, in all your discussions, it must come back to have that element. And you have to say the way I'm saying it now, but you must keep that behind your mind. You don't have to keep that behind your mind. Because if you lose this power, Trinidad asks, I forgot to say it. Trinidad asks, what is it called? Blink? You know what they call it. Trinidad ass in trouble, real trouble, and that would fit them well. Because if you listen to what they're talking about, you take the bread away from them and you're not giving them nothing for it. They said we wouldn't forget. Forget what? You have not. What you're going to forget? The bread is to get from the crumbs on the table. That's you should forget that. You have nothing to remember. You have nothing to gain. These people have been keeping it down for so long, and you like it so. So my bottom line of all of this is that we need to don't fall trap to that element of society that's trying to divide us in so sharp and so colonial in the behavior. That is uncalled for. The UNC people must never fall trap to it. And all patriotic Trinidadian should see what it's worth and never get them back in power again because they don't deserve it. And
And
I'm serious. That is more important than telling about the data center. This
yes,
last point I'm making is more
yeah,
important than the nice
I
data center you want to come forward with. So that's my last three contribution tonight that I wanted to talk, and I would listen to you guys what you have to say.
well, I definitely concur with you, Dr. Murad, and that's the scariest thing that bothers me as well.
Yes.
Because it takes one spark, only one spark, and it could be a racial spark that can bring back the supporters, PNM supporters, in house again. And once that happens, we could very well be a tight election the next time around. Now, I'm not too sure about how these plans going to pan out because the way our constitution is drawn up, unlike some other countries, I can tell you one which I've studied is the Singapore model. And the Singapore model got both the opposition and the ruling party to agree on the development plans to 2045. So it doesn't matter which party comes in power, the economic plans of the country has to go forward. So the next 5 years, the people will measure who was performing the best of the two parties. And that's how it's done in Singapore. But what happens in our part of the world is whenever a new administration comes, the old plans are dumped and they start all over again, reinventing the wheel, so to speak, and you're starting from scratch. So instead of the country going forward, the country is only going sideways. Come 10 years ago, we had not 1 inch of progress. Come a new government, they try to implement a new plan, change the government next 5 years, everything reverses back to the square one and it all restarts. So that's why I say in Trinidad and Tobago, we had a country that is only moving sideways but never forward. Never forward. We can't go forward because it these things are not ingrained in the constitution. This is why it's necessary. Doesn't matter. Patrick Manning had a good the year 2020 plan, the 2020 vision plan, which is a good plan, but that's all it was, a plan. you know. So we fall short in
But
that
to,
regard.
to benefit who? The 2020 vision plan was to benefit who the most? The people living in the area never couldn't get a job to lift a brick, right?
Right, but the
Because I
plan
went there
was
and sat with them and asked them if they got any work. So that those glass building they were building in Port of Spain, they didn't even get a $5 to sweep the yard.
no,
All right.
they all imported labor. All Chinese, Colombian, Chinese labor were
And
building
you're
all
selling
the
your little
skilled.
chow and your whatever thing, and the police lock you up and rough you up, and they don't give you a place to market your goods.
Well,
So you're
I'm
trying to
talking
make a
about
living.
Gary, with all due respect, is the development plan is what I was talking about, and not the political planning and so on. But
Yeah,
we
no,
need
I'm
to
talking
have
about the development plan. But the point I'm making here, the development plan has to benefit the common man on the ground.
absolutely, and it
Okay,
has to
and
be.
if you want to kick him around and bring other people to benefit out of the people that voting for you, and they're so blind to see that based on because they put somebody there that look like them and saying that them for you and they're really not for you, and they give you some crumbs and everybody run away with the cake. So it's about
Yes,
time, this is the point we're making here, is the people have to understand that this government, this prime minister, it has their best interests at heart, and they need to give us some time to get the job done.
and the plans need to be concretized, meaning that even God forbid she loses election, at least the plan, the development plan for the country
Well, if
goes
she
forward.
loses, they have to make it their business that she don't lose, because they
But
have to be
you
in this
see,
time. Mr. Singh, is that we have to help educate these people to understand that is their vested interest, and they must make it their personal business that she does not lose the election, because their own lives is in jeopardy. So they have to seek their interest, and we have to educate them that they need to seek their interest. That is the point.
yeah, but there's always that element and that party that always is a gimme, 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 gimme. Nothing is enough for these bitches. Sorry to say it like that. They always
Gimme,
want.
gimme
Help.
what? Crumbs. What are you bargaining for? What are you batting for? Crumbs or you want the cake?
No, well, you have to understand what has gone on in past elections in
Yeah,
Trinidad
we
and
know, but what I'm
they
saying
got
is, no, but
every.
now we have a platform here where we can help educate the people to understand that what is in play here for them is that if they don't stand up for their own self, they to lose.
But at the end of the day, while that is the ultimate goal, that is the most realistic solution, yes. But you have to understand people's sentiments. And people's sentiments are based on race.
But
That's
we have
one.
to counterattack. We have to
Yeah,
counterattack these
and the
things.
question, Gary, who is doing that at this point in time?
We
Nobody.
we must.
Nobody. No,
We
we
little
have to do it.
platform here could make a difference.
Yeah, we are the one to do it, but how far are we reaching to let people know? The
You will be
country
surprised.
has to, you have to try. Yes, I agree with it. You have to try, but also the political system has to play a more active role in making sure
I,
that
I, I
this
want
happens.
I want to draw a reference to you.
Yeah,
When they ask me what is the plan to fight for we people across the country, I say we're going to campaign on social media. They say
correct.
that is the plan. They
Yeah.
say, man, you had to go and stand up. You had to go and stand up outside the embassy. I say, I am not going to put our people in more jeopardy than they're already in. Right? A guy
Mm-hmm.
told me that, oh, I had to do this and that, and you wasting time. And oh, you had to pay money to get exemption, or you either had to go and stand up and protest. I made all my bargaining and battle and fight on social media.
That's
All
the way
right?
to go.
On social
That's
media,
how.
on Facebook, and negotiating. And I never stood 1 second outside the Trinidad and Tobago consulate to embarrass myself or the people or my country. I stood up, I contacted the people that needed to be contacted, and I brought my message across. Right?
Now, well, you're right,
So,
but did you see the reaction of that
and I
person?
got the results. I have
Yeah,
over 600 people that I got
you-
home to Trinidad.
yes, under difficult circumstances, I must admit. But
Very difficult circumstances.
did you see the rantings of this lady today in Port of Spain?
No, I didn't see the rantings
Yeah,
of
Dr.
anybody
Maharaj,
yet
I
because
don't
I
know
have been kind of busy.
emancipation. No, that's what I tell you. There's always a gimme, 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 man. Somebody always owes somebody something. These bitches have their hands in the cookie jar all the time. They got the free bus transport, free meals for their kids, breakfast and lunch, books and uniform grant, milk subsidy, every damn thing, but they still want more. I want free housing. They're occupying houses, they're paying rent. Why only certain sections of the economy must benefit like that? So to change that mentality, that gimme mentality, is a Herculean effort because they are accustomed getting the riches
Yeah,
of the
but give me,
state
give
in
me,
their
what are you
pocket.
bargaining for? The point again, what are you bargaining? Give me what? Are you bargaining for crumbs or you bargaining for the cake? This prime
No,
minister is trying to give you
for
the cake.
them, you see, this is long term, but for them, the free meals for the children in school, lunch and dinner, breakfast and lunch, and free books and uniform grant, and free transportation. And if they don't get laptop, me sending the child to school, and they make all the damn excuses to get me so, give me this, give me more, give me some of this.
Well, they wasn't getting any laptop under the previous government. That was cut out. There was,
Right.
a lot of things. They
All,
couldn't even have
all,
some places they didn't have a decent school. Grass overgrown the place. They refused to open some of the
and
schools.
And you see how much, you see some of the more than 10 secondary schools were neglected. A whole damn university was neglected. A whole bloody hospital was neglected, to tell you, because there were not enough gimme there. So what I'm saying is that there are certain elements of the society, no matter how much you can educate these bitches, it's still going to be the same thing. It always boils down in TNT to race at election time. Always a racial issue. And it takes only one less spark to reignite that. One comment, two comments, and
Anyway, I'm hoping and wishing Dr. Phillips well and giving him all the support that hopefully that we can counterattack these things by merging our people across the globe, bringing
yeah,
some sense
yeah.
and some, some.
Again, Gary, that's a nice initiative, but I'm worried about, where we don't have, you come back to Trinidad, you're willing to assist. The ministers go overseas and interact with the diaspora, and they tell you, come back home and help build TNT. But when you come back home, who do you go to? Which agency? Is there an agency? I'm trying to meet my,
Well, I mean, I think what Dr.
the
Phillips is doing is kind of creating the mechanism to facilitate that.
Yeah, but I wish him success in that because that's a good initiative. They have got good skills residing overseas, which the country badly needs. But you come back and you're applying for these skills and so on, and they figure you're trying to take somebody's job, man. You know, this kind of narrow-minded way some people still have that. They don't see national development as the issue, but rather, personal. It's always personal. That, oh, you come in to take my job. Dr. Maharaj comes here and he wants a job in university, the UVA. Oh, who he thinks he is? He ain't going to replace so and so and so because not because he's coming from overseas with specialized skills, he should get the job. No, there's always
Maybe
resentment.
we can get Dr. Maraj across to Tobago where you are.
Well,
Me?
um, I may
No,
need a
thank you.
couple of I may need a couple of people here to.
Hey, Doc, any plans to go down Trinidad? Maybe you go down and check out Sumal and Tobago for a little bit, get a grasp of things.
I might think about it a little later on. I want to sort out something right now, so later I'll see you later in the year.
Yeah. I just thought of it. I said it might be a good idea for
Yeah.
you to go down and meet
You
with
could,
him.
you also could send me some stuff you have. I'll take a look at them. I mean, I ain't so bright in that area, but I mean, I might have one or two ideas that I will, I don't.
Well, one or two ideas is good. You know.
That is
But I
only
mean, but Suman could educate you on what he's heading, and I'm sure you could pick up the slack along the way. Because of your background and experience, I'm sure you could fall right in there with it, Doctor March.
look.
Yeah.
Let's put it like this, Gary. I mean, we all know Dr. Ramu has a lot of skills,
Yes.
and you also Wade has a lot of skills. Sri Ram, a lot of financial skills and so on. I
Hmm.
will work with Citibank for more than 20 years. Dr. Ramu has over 30 years experience. But why are
Hmm.
these guys not employed? These are skills that are badly needed. And you ask yourself, why aren't these guys employed? They are perhaps the best in their field, right?
What constituency does Dr. Raoul live in?
We live in
Who's the MP?
San Fernando West.
Okay, that's Doctor.
Philip,
Yeah, but he's a cool guy.
he's in Philippines next. He lives next to the PM.
Oh no,
That's
no,
it. That's it.
yeah,
That's
right,
it.
right.
That's
What
his
I mean is
neighbor.
he could link up. He could link up with his MP first, then the prime minister later.
And
MP,
the
MP for
M,
his area. He should be in Cora with them regular conversation.
and his MP was my teacher in high school, Dr. Daulat. He was the
Right,
principal at NAPS.
right. So what I'm saying is that
Also, Philippines fall under San Fernando West. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's the knife and fork Indians, yeah, man.
yeah, they could
Philippines,
they could
Philippines,
he could
Philippines, Gulf
So
City.
you mean Bas move into the Knife and Fork Indian area?
No, what has happened, Gary, is that Philippines, like Gulf City, if you know the pattern of voting is that the rich people really, most of them don't go and vote. Wealthy people don't go and vote. That's the same problem in Lange Park and Valsin, and Dr. Malila told me that personally. He said that's the biggest problem we face, party faces, that the rich people don't want to vote unless their security is threatened. That's the only time they go and vote. And this was the time their security was threatened with the amount of crime and so on. That's why they went out and voted. But when you look at the data, it shows that the rich people never went and voted. Now, Dr. Daulat has an important role to play because most of the affluent people in Gulf City and Philippines are past graduates of Naparima boys or girls or Ivy or Presentation San Fernando. And most of the graduates from those schools are the ones who are living in these posh areas because they are professionals. So he was able to reach these people, and that is how they went out and voted, you know. So this the way the constituency is structured, anybody can't win that seat. So you must be a strong Presbyterian by religion, and a lot of them were past students of naps and prayers and nap skills and nap toys and Ivy and so on. These are the people who live in Gulf City in Philippines. These are professional people. So that is how they were able to breach the San Fernando West. But anyway, that's being said.
I just want to
I
say one more thing before you all leave. That about the last point I made about be careful. The UNC people have to be smart to realize that what the trick is being worked on them with those PNM, especially those diehard PNM who would prefer to see the country fall rather
Mhm.
than the UNC come back in power and win a
Yep.
second time around.
And that's
So
a scary thing.
and their tool That instrument would be to divide, like I said, divide and conquer. Divide up that rainbow they're seeing in UNC, that hurting them the most out of everything. That hurt them the most. To see their own people is not committed in their own home because they are traitor to our cause, and they have a problem with that. Therefore, the people who are level-minded Trinidadians who of Trinidad first and everything else second, you have to realize that don't fall trap to their racial minority behavior. It is not going to help the UNC to fall in that trap. Just let look the other way and say all of us Trinidad first, party second, everything else third.
I
Okay,
How
then
think
about
somehow or other.
yourself first? How about yourself first? A lot of
Yourself to
people,
come up,
you know what I'm just saying,
self,
before
right,
we get to that,
right,
because you're playing with your healthcare, you're playing with the safety of your
right.
grandchildren, you're playing, with the safety of yourself, your economic safety,
Mhm,
the necessities that for your survival, like simple things like water,
yeah.
you
Mhm,
can't get it in an effective flow under the previous effective
mhm,
flow supply there under the previous government. Everything went to hell. Everything became difficult. They complicated simplest things, and to see these kind of things happening. I would like to get some feedback from some of our people outside the country here. As what they're looking forward to. You know what I mean? A lot of people left the country. They bettered themselves. They were very successful, and they could make a contribution like how Dr. Phillips is trying to do now, which we have been trying to do. That's how we connect so well with Dr. Andre Phillips because of his vision falls in line with what we have been saying all along. And I know for a fact that a lot of Trinis out here, Doc, by hanging out with you guys in New York, there, a lot of people are very interested in making their contribution, but they're being blocked. They're being
mhm.
blocked. You know, so
Yeah.
I think
let's keep pounding away, gentlemen, and Dr. Mirage, you had some other contribution you wanted to make some months ago, and I want to encourage you. Anything that you have to say, I'll give you the time. Any day you feel that you are ready to, make your points. Let's get it done. All right.
Yeah.
So organize
I
yourself
will.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Later again. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Whenever I just wanted to remind So,
When,
Mr. Singh, any last words, gentlemen? Anything else
No,
you have to?
that's about it. I really hope I take Dr. Mara's comment to heart because I share similar views that
mm-hmm.
the key is to ensure that the PNM does not get back in power, and how do you do that is a challenge.
Right.
The minister,
Let's do our
somebody has
part.
to,
Let's do our.
somebody, yes, we can do our part, but somebody has to take the lead, or basically all the ministers have to take the lead, and help the party, as one entity going forward. It can't be
Yeah,
left on the
I
prime
know, but,
minister
Mr.
alone,
Singh, I am
or
not waiting on those ministers to catch that vision.
you see.
It's
So,
either they fall
but
in or they fall out, but we're gonna do the lead here.
but you see,
As
they are
far
the
as I'm
ones
concerned.
in control. The ministers are the one in control. So
Well, we
they
on the
need
media
to take
platform
the
here.
lead. They need to take the lead as well. You hear it from a minister is different from hearing it from you and I, Gary.
Well, we're gonna
So
give them. We're gonna give them the kick to take the lead. Don't worry.
yes, we should do. Somebody should be on the butt all the time to let them know that they're not helping as much as they should be. That's your ministry, yes, but how are you going to win the next round? That
Well,
is
let's lead from the ground up, not from the
uh,
top down.
That's
Let's
it.
lead from the ground up.
That's
We
it,
are the ground.
Gary.
We are the
That's it.
ground.
That's the answer. You have to start with the party branch.
Yeah.
The
Well, listen.
street
We are the
block. The
roots.
street
We are
block.
the roots of the party here. All right,
That
gentlemen.
is where it
Don't be
must start.
bashful. Don't be shy.
That's
You
where
have something to say. Please say it. Speak up.
and the ministers must know you're on the ground, and therefore, if they want to really get another 5 years, they have to know how to reach out to the people on the ground, their
Well,
own
is
people
either they
first.
comply or they run.
yeah, but
We're
No,
going to
we
be a
don't want to
force. We're going to be a
we don't
force
we
to
don't want to
reckon with.
threaten them. We want them. We want them to come along, get on
Well, we're
board.
not
That's
threatening.
all.
We just we just making our points and then bringing it to their
Yeah, but
attention
get on
because
board, get
we
on
not
board.
playing.
Mhm.
We're not playing with the future of our country, and we don't invest. Listen, we can't be investing all this time into helping elections and then they squander it. You understand? They have to
Right.
take us serious, Doc. They have to take us serious. So
Mhm.
let's get serious with them, and anything make keep your notes, and organize yourself for our next forum here. Gentlemen, let me
Yeah,
know when you're ready.
yeah,
Yes, Gary. Sure,
All
man.
right.
Yep.
yeah.
Maybe
We'll talk
maybe if
again.
Dr. Ramro feel like in the mood tomorrow. I know he was traveling today, so maybe
Yeah,
tomorrow or one of these days during the week we got to come back. We got to keep on firing
Yeah,
again.
yeah. No, yeah.
he
We
wanted
didn't
to
hear for a while too.
discuss.
Yeah,
He wanted to discuss something with the healthcare system. So
All
yeah. I
right,
think I
so
saw that
we
somewhere.
look out for that. We're gonna be doing that soon, and Dr. Mirage, I will be in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so gentlemen, I think that we could say good night at this point.
Yeah.
yep,
Good night.
Thank everyone for joining us, and look forward to meeting you again. Pretty
all right,
soon. We're gonna
Gary.
close out with a little music here.
Yeah. And
Good
so,
night,
man, hold on,
gentlemen.
Trinibago. Let me hear good things coming out of there.
Yeah, man, for sure, sure. I'm
Good.
going to get on roll once I'm onboarded. I have already drawn up the plan,
Oh, good.
but not only the plan, not only the what, I also draw up the when and the how,
Oh, and the
and
how.
look at the output already. I've
And,
already designed it.
and even my wife even somewhere too. Okay.
Yeah, but
But Doc,
I
follow
definitely
up with
it's not.
Suman. Follow up with Suman off here now. I want you to follow up with him. All right, Doc.
Okay,
It's,
we'll talk
it's
later. Yeah, somebody
Yeah,
want to
part
call
of
yeah,
me
the
sometime.
process.
yeah. Follow up
Yeah.
with him. Give him a buzz, and you guys put some things together.
We'll talk
Take
again.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nice. Take care.
Let me
Good
hear your
night.
music. Shoot your music out.
Some Geeta Bisram there, Caribbean Angels band. Angel Caribbean band, Geeta Bisram.
आज की रात मजा हो सका आँखों से लीजिए आज की रात मजा हो सका आँखों से लीजिए वक्त बर्बाद न बिन बात की बातों में कीजिए वक्त बर्बाद न बिन बात की बातों में कीजिए आज की रात मजा हो सका आँखों से लीजिए आज की रात मजा हो सका आँखों से लीजिए जान की कुर्बानी लेने दे बढ़ जानी तबाही पर
Cool.
And here's some Rishma Mirage of the Jersey City. This is Rishma Mirage of the Jersey City.
Tell me where you come from, but tell me where you come from. I really want to know if I'm gonna Trinbago. Mundia, tell me where you come from, but tell me where you come from. I really want to know if I'm gonna Trinbago. Mundia, tell me where you come from.
What's up, Rich from New Jersey?
Yeah, Rishma is out of New Jersey, Jersey City. He made a few tracks there.
I know the girl before, guitar, guitar.
Yeah. That we know that we don't mind.
Yeah.
Mundia
Guyanese background, right?
Rishma is Trinidadian. No, she's
Oh,
Trinidadian.
that's yeah, I thought because the Guyanese usually have this kind of sound. But I mean both, but I mean they usually in this kind of melody. Right, this kind of choker in it. Yeah, where you come from? Good night.
Yeah, here's another one from this is another guitar. Yeah.